There we go. We are live with episode 1 of Avatar Legends, titled Book 1, Hunted. Let me know how the overlay looks. The preview on OBS is hard to tell. It shrinks the picture so much that I can't see the fine details.
It looks good.
Okay, perfect.
Sounds good.
Sound good?
Okay.
What did I hear myself?
Has sound.
Has
Yeah.
sound.
Has sound is not muted. Again. Okay.
All
then
right.
I think we are good.
We have all talked on stream because my delay just caught up. So
Good. I'm glad we.
I mean, the only two
sorted that
audio
one out.
sources is my mic and everybody else.
That's true.
So, yeah.
Okay.
That's where the line between professional and semi-professional is.
The separate audio lines.
We start having different audio.
Oh, I tried that one. No, I didn't try. I wasn't the one pushing for that, but someone else tried that with recording with me once, and it was like, okay, everyone's gonna have their own separate Discord server and yet they're also gonna install a thing to let us run 2 instances of Discord at the same time, so that you can both be in a separate Discord server, so that for the recording, and the same Discord server for us to actually hear and talk to each other.
That feels a little bit too convoluted. There's got to be a nice in between.
Well, the worst part is that means that everyone has their own mixer too, so it just got exponentially more complicated.
Yeah, that's why I said that's where the professional line is.
Yeah.
That's the actual effort I have to put.
Everybody
into
get their
sound.
own soundboard. That's the big wall of sound quality.
I don't have an electronic one, but I do have a soundboard.
I mean, yeah, digital one's not hard to get.
I have voice mod.
Yeah,
that works.
That actually does mostly work.
When it decides to be stable, it's great. When it doesn't, it's a pain.
I just spent a quarter inch input mixing board. It's like real little though. Not functional for this at all.
I'm
All right,
not going to say what I was going to say. It will cause chaos in the future.
Oh no. Just be a
I
chaos
do not
cast
want to
rebel.
add random sounds, basically, to the the noise board. I guess
You want an
you would
effects board?
I do
Like
not
you
want
can
an
push
effects board.
buttons
I do not
and
want
sound
one.
Come on, we can turn this into drive time radio real quick.
Yeah. Coming at you live.
Just get a bit full of Avatar quotes and just press one with a record.
Yes, good. Copyright infringement buttons.
We'll have a
Just
that's
what
rough
you
buddy
It's too
button.
short for them to read. It has to be like 5 seconds or something.
Yeah, when you hit 7 buttons, it adds up.
And this is my strike console. When I push a button, we get a
Don't
strike.
make me press this button.
Don't make
You'll
me hit the
regret
my
it.
cabbages button. I won't press it.
Yep.
I'm just figuring composing music with all the different quotes, the right tone.
Oh yeah, just auto tuning it. I would love an auto tuned My Cabbages song.
I'm sure
Like
it
how they
exists.
did
Give
for,
me a second.
Ballad
I'll
of the Cabbage
find-
Merchant.
I will
Someone
find
has
it.
done this.
That
Yeah.
has been done.
If someone made a Chrissy Wake Up song, there's definitely a cabbage song.
I mean, honestly, as popular as Avatar is, it's not as popular as Stranger Things.
That's true. If the Bed Intruder song could be made, then the cabbage song can be made.
Fair.
But yeah, I guess we're here to play Avatar Legends. Yeah, it's a game that isn't officially out yet.
I got the
Except
trap
for
remix.
oh, you do.
I will be sending it shortly.
Lovely.
How
found it.
strikeable? How strikeable is it?
We're not immediately to play it. I just need to be proven right.
But yeah, Avatar Legends, it's not officially out yet, except to Kickstarter backers. The game ships to backers, I think, in November, they're planning, and it'll be in stores shortly thereafter.
Yep.
But
the digital version is out for backers, and one of us is that.
Yeah.
I think most of us are that.
I can't even remember. I actually can't remember if I backed this.
I did.
It was a really good deal because they hit all their stretch goals and then had to come up with new ones. And
I got the lowest tier of physical stretch goal one. I think it was like Otter Seal or something.
Yeah, I think I got that one too.
Kickstarter.
Just because Honestly, I wanted the
backers.
silly avatar dice, and that seemed like enough to make it worth it.
That's fair. I've been leading up to and starting preparing for my Kickstarter for Chasing Adventure, and it is a lot of research. And I'm definitely taking notes from the Avatar one of like, okay.
Although I do want to point out,
License a professional property that everyone loves. Make a
Yeah.
game about it.
Yep. And then
although I
just
do want to point out, I'm
lay
getting
under my
very
bed of money.
tired of these big companies that definitely have the money to fund their own projects start to finish. Like, kind
Is
of
Magpie
dominating.
that big?
Magpie maybe not, but Andrew McNeil, yes.
Okay.
Using Kickstarter to fund the whole project, where it's like you have the money to front for it, but they kind of like suck the air out of the room when they drop something huge.
There's also
Mhm.
yeah, and then there's actually like investor interest and stuff like that. I was impressed with what they did with semi-related with what Brandon Sanderson did when he got his Kickstarter. He's just like, yeah, we did it, and we're gonna give a bunch of the money back and fund a bunch of other book-related Kickstarters because
Well,
we
that
have
was.
that money.
I don't think that was even. I thought that was for him self-publishing them.
I think that was the Kickstarter to the I Wrote 5 Secret Books Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, those
I
were
just
him
Googled it.
self-publishing.
But it was still like-
that's. You're right, and he is a big name author, but like I don't know if he's a big name author enough to have enough money to fund a 1,000,000-book print run, though. That adds
That's
up
true.
fast.
That does add up
What-
fast.
What we need to do is do a
I mean-
book Kickstarter, but
I don't
for
know.
George R. R. Martin to
No,
finally.
what
I actually
what
think
we
he
need
might
to
have been
do-
able to afford it because he
Who knows?
has his own
I
company,
doubt
he has his
so
own
much.
convention.
I was going to say, the thing we do need to do, if we're learning from Avatar, we need to get some weird, obscure IP. We have to, like, find it at a bargain sale or something that we can pick a license up for, and then pump a game out
it's-
for that and use that as the whole premise.
Despite
Considering what HBO Max just did by getting rid of a bunch of animated shows, there's probably a bunch of properties that are relatively cheap and licensable right now.
hold on, I'm looking up the big ones. Like,
How
okay,
cheap
is there a
can we get a
Dragon Prince
license?
RPG that we can just
will
rush
sell-
out for season 4?
Yeah,
Is there-
We will sell out.
The
There's-
Westworld RPG.
there's like-
zero.
Yeah, there's like
Third.
3 unofficial She-Ra RPGs, but there's no official one, so we should do that.
If we can pick that up, let's.
Yep.
We just make it faster than any other company can
Yeah,
make
you know what, we'll get it
and
done in a
then
week,
just
whole
lock
down the
thing.
license. We just lock down the license. We do a Kickstarter. We float on that for a year.
Yeah. I'll take basic moves. You take playbooks. We won't have any
We all make our own
design between them.
systems.
We all make our own
Oh, yeah, no,
subsystems.
hire art first.
Yeah,
The character creation's like Burning Wheel, but the moves are like
The moves are
powered
just
by the apocalypse.
yep.
yeah,
Also, there's
one
this
move powered by
extremely
the
complex
apocalypse.
economic system in She-Ra because there is.
There's
Yeah,
no
the whole
money.
thing kind of plays like
I don't
Mutants and
think there's money
Masterminds meets
once.
Everyone is John.
Exactly.
It's really strange.
And for some reason, there's a
Everyone
model
is
UN in
She-Ra.
there.
That would actually be a great name for a game.
Everyone gets a sort of power, but it's the exact same one. There's zero variance.
Yep.
You have to pass it amongst you.
But I was thinking
Whenever one of you
everyone
transforms,
could
the other
share-
person who was transformed gets like untransformed then and there.
yeah, well, yeah, one person can transform at a time between your whole party.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The other princesses have separate individual powers.
Yes, but they don't have magic swords. But yes, they do.
Right. Anyway, we need a license, but not for right now. Right now, we're doing Avatar.
Yep.
So yeah, I have some contrived derivative bullshit to read if anyone's interested.
Mm.
Always. Always.
Sweet.
Did you write it in a box first?
It's
Yeah.
on a document. I did not put it in a box.
I don't know if I
Man,
can
it's a
respect it.
pop-up. I need a
It's in a
pop-up.
rectangle, not a box.
Yeah, it's not box text.
Nope.
Technically,
It is. It is.
Scripted.
It is scripted.
quadrilateral text.
I'm sure I can insert a box.
So, begin derivative nonsense. All right. Dice, character sheets, rule books, imagination. My grandmother used to tell me stories about the old days, a time of strife, when war games were as close as you could get to assuming the roles of great heroes while hanging out with your friends. But all that changed with a man called Gygax. Now we create avatars and master the 4 elements of RPGs to create engaging stories with our friends, because some of us believe that a good story can save the world.
That's amazing.
You see, I thought for a moment you were gonna do like Princess Bride, like the Princess Bride intro.
That's
Oh,
just
All right.
fantastic.
That's how I'm going to start this game. It can only get worse. All right.
Now
we
you gotta
see-
do that for every time we start the game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Previously
Every intro.
on Avatar. So yeah, we see the white screen with the title card says Avatar Legends, the role-playing game, Book 1 Hunted, Chapter 1, Hot on the Heels.
Not at all related to any Nickelodeon properties.
Nope.
Yeah.
So
the
we
small
begin in a world
Viacom
beset.
copyright text shows up at the bottom. The one you can see here on this overlay at the very bottom.
There you go. We begin in a world beset
It's
by
very
war. It has been 10 years since Firelord Sozin took advantage of the Great Comet's power to wipe out the air nomads and engage the other nations. News of the Avatar's disappearance has spread, and while many refuse to believe the Avatar is gone, a cloud of hopelessness has begun to form. The Fire Nation's relentless march since the air nomad genocide has been slow and methodical. It's going to be a long war, won by inches, yet the Fire Nation shows no sign of stopping. We open looking down a forest road. The shadows from the setting sun beginning to engulf the surroundings. The view is that of a person running, the frame jostling in time with their gait. Heavy, rapid footfalls can be heard alongside the labored breathing of several individuals. A gruff voice yells, "Look out!" as a gout of flame passes to the left of the runner, briefly illuminating the gathering gloom of the dense forest. The view spins behind at a rapidly encroaching gang of Fire Nation soldiers, the white masks stark against the dark red armor. A man's weathered and scarred fist comes into frame as the runner hastily launches his gout of flame towards his pursuers. As the Fire Nation soldiers dodge to avoid the flames, one leaps forward, his vice-like grip clutching a slender female wrist as we hear a scream. We see another fist, adorned with jagged crystal rings, come into the frame, striking at and breaking the soldier's grip. We zoom out to see a young man in his early 20s. And Jordan, if you'd like to describe Bao coming into frame.
Yeah. So Bao is a tall, slightly pudgy man. He's like peak dad bod. If you took Hopper from Stranger
Yeah.
Things and put him in an anime, that's what he is.
Yep.
Right. So, yeah, he goes and breaks the grip with his like bedazzled hands. Basically, he's got different minerals on different rings, all like along his fingers. He got like earrings. He's like very blinged out.
So what types of actions do we see? Like is he interposing himself between like the off-camera woman and the Fire Nation soldier? What do you do?
I think he's doing a lot of like earthbending, like creating basically like cover. He's doing a lot of that and just like making sure that people, the Fire Nation who's chasing us, is slowed down as much as possible.
Okay. From the runner's perspective, we hear, and sorry, Spencer, pronunciation on that name one more time.
Quiwa.
Quiwa. We hear the runner yell, "Quiwa, quickly!" While they are regrouping, is trying to tell you to like attack and hold them back.
Yep.
So you can describe what we see.
Quiwa is a young woman. She looks like she's about 16. She is currently dressed in very sort of ill-fitting regular Fire Nation wear garb. I think probably most of us are right now. She doesn't say anything. She just like nods at the voice and starts running away. The bow on her back. As she is running, she sort of twists backwards, and as she's sort of running sideways away, she pulls an arrow from a quiver that's on her back. It's sort of kept on her lower back. It's not kept like it's not a Legolas quiver. It's sideways and it's mostly like diagonal and on her lower back, more attached to her belt than anything else.
Anime quiver, yeah.
Mm.
She grabs an arrow from that, knocks it, twists it, and I think we follow the arrow as it I think it hits one of the helmets and knocks off one of the helmets of a Fire Nation soldier who was about to um who was in the process of bypassing and climbing over the cover. Um, I don't see we see her fire them. But we see a couple more arrows. Not exceptionally rapid fire, but over the course of a few sporadic more shots, um, hit one of them. Probably um, gets some of the cloth underneath the metal and pins it to a rock. Um, Another one probably hits one of the Fire Nation soldiers wielding a weapon, hits that out of their hand. And then she, I think, after a couple shots, just holds her bow and just keeps running. Doesn't say a word.
Okay. Yeah, we pan back from that back around toward a metal-clad individual as we hear the runner yell, "Aeon, make them wish they never dreamt up that contraption."
So I think what we see is that there's a couple of people coming around the sides of the barriers that have been put up, as there's a really large suit of power armor kind of steps forward. And this thing is full of a complex system of like joints and rivets, and it's articulated in a way that makes it look like controlling it is a bit more of a process than just taking a step forward. Kind of reminiscent of an old diving suit, but with a lot more of like levers and fiddly bits poking up at some of the easily accessible junctions there. Can't we just talk to them? And Aeon's voice is like really surprisingly young, coming out from behind the metal faceplate back there.
I'm guessing an Alphonse vibe. Not quite that young, but kind of that metal ting and young voice vibe.
Yeah. The age is probably around 16, but judging from the armor, you wouldn't be able to tell that. But yeah, so even as he's saying that, like the arm of the suit is kind of coming up and kind of like pointing at around the people, and the other arm's just kind of going, grabbing a lever and just pulling it back as he does that. And as he does that, just a massive gout of flame shoots out of this fire armor, and originally it's pointing at the soldiers, and he realizes that and kind of like aims it down to the ground like a fire blade, again, just kind of stopping pursuit. And then the flame just kind of, even pretty quickly, kind of putters out and just stops, petering out in these like choking spurts. And I think it's out of fuel, as I back up and head leave with the rest.
So we see the view sort of shaking a little bit, like, oh. and then we hear that voice again, "Dama, I'll give you an opening." And the fire break spreads open, and there's a blinding flash of like a flare of fire, dazzling the Fire Nation soldiers, as another young man comes into frame.
Yeah.
Dama?
So he's kind of in just like looser fitting red clothes, generic Fire Nation red. And like I'm not running through the little break in the fire, but it's not walking. It's like just a brisk like walk,
Saunter.
just like it's like walking at a brisk pace, but not quite a full on run.
It's a power walk.
Less dramatic. Just making good time through it and just looking around, but he's not really like doing anything to stop the soldiers. Just like taking note of where they are.
So
his hands are in his pockets, just kind of just like quickly walking through the
okay,
battlefield.
fair enough.
Yeah. I do the head turn, like, oh, this is where all the soldiers are. Like, get a feel of my surroundings, but I can't really do anything about them. So,
All right.
yep.
I think once again we hear the inexperienced, and we see an older man rush into frame. He's in his mid 40s, maybe late 40s. Sort of a receding-ish hairline. His hair is just starting to go gray. He's wearing black Fire Nation armor with some kanji inscribed all over it in white. And he runs up, sort of uses Dama as a platform to like push himself off, and does a spinning kick, sending fire out and pushing the Fire Nation soldiers back. With the combined efforts of the team, the Fire Nation soldiers retreat, and in the ensuing quiet, we just hear narratively the old man wondering, like, how did we end up here? Our lives, fighting for our lives against the unchecked ambition of the Fire Nation. If only we had never found that home. So for a quick flashback, just gonna ask some questions. So Dama, where and how did you meet the others?
Hmm. Probably like right before you went to jail.
Mm.
Like shortly before. I don't. How did we get to jail? What are we arrested for?
I think some of
I
us
think
met
we
in
met
jail,
Hmm.
but
Mhm.
But how did you specifically meet the rest of the group? Is like from Dama's perspective.
I met most of them in jail. I feel like I met some volunteer before they went to jail and kind of just got swept up in their crime and didn't really make a big effort about not being taken in.
That's fair.
you're just the stray cat who adopted us.
Yeah,
Getting a
more or less.
Shikamaru vibe, like, this is just too much work. Very
Well, I was
troublesome.
like traveling, and then it's like if you go to jail, at least you get like a month of free food and like some sleep, and
You were doing it the American way.
yeah,
Forced calisthenics.
yeah, forced calisthenics. I could really sit down and consider the ramifications of my last game.
Which game was that?
Pai Show. Dava's whole thing is that he will be the world's best Pai Show player, but he's not quite there yet.
Okay.
Perfect.
So Quiwa, who's Hanto?
So hold on.
We didn't name these people weeks ago.
So he's the overarching bad guy.
Oh,
Who's
okay.
the
I'm
bad
like,
guy?
I was looking at my own character backstory. I'm like, I don't
Yeah,
remember.
no,
Hanto.
this is
Okay.
episode 1 stuff. And since you're
Hanto-
going last, I'm letting you define the main villain.
Hanto is the, yeah, he's a Fire Nation scientist who has been working to, basically, yeah, he's been working on their war machines to try and advance their technology. I think he is, probably, I think he has a chip on his shoulder because he used to be one of the top Fire Nation generals, I think. Or at least not a general directly, but he used to be very top brass of their science division. Um, and I think that
Now he's been sent to a farm upstate to tinker.
not quite at he's not been quite relegated that badly, but he got passed up for a promotion basically to be at the very top by a rival or something like that. Um, and then this project that we are now interfering with was his opportunity to basically like guarantee his success. I think that we met him because they use, of course, prison labor for the experiments. Not They probably don't experiment directly on prisoners. This is not doesn't need human experiments. It's not biological, but it's more like getting prisoners to help build
Test
materials, test pilots, or do the unskilled labor in this industrial experiment. I
Yeah,
think.
the real risky bits go to the expendable people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'd be the
and
one setting up targets every time that the flamethrower prototype has to fire at a target.
and what does Hanto look like?
I think. Oof. Like all Fire Nation soldiers, he has this like military build, broad shoulders, fairly he's not short, I would say. Um, I think he is.
You don't have an eye.
One of his. Hmm?
I was gonna say we do know kind of middling bad guy Fire Nation have the big chops.
All of
The
them.
mutton chops.
Yep, fair.
Yeah. And then I was also getting evil scientist from Hellboy vibes with the like dome hat.
I feel like he also needs welding goggles.
I think
though.
yeah, he needs something to like make his eyes dark, or like he needs a Fire Nation equivalent of evil scientist goggles, and I love welding goggles as a version of that. Um,
He's just wearing a welding mask.
mm,
No, he just got like the goggles like up on his forehead most of the time, probably something.
yeah,
Mutton chops.
it's
and
because
welding goggles.
Actually,
there's
on
some
the
kind
eye,
of like steampunk adjacent aesthetic to this. I actually kind of like the of their like brass welding goggles, where they're somewhere between welding and sort of fashion.
So like welding goggles built into a masquerade mask almost.
Could
It's
be
the
that.
brass
It
spirit.
could be his version. Yeah, his version of his helmet is super different.
No, the helmet has holes that are cut out for the welding goggles.
Oh,
like the old, like you just pull the faceplate down and there's your helmet, except the front of the faceplate's actually just welding goggles.
yeah, it's like the standard like Fire Nation like helmet. That's like the skull part, right? But his has welding like goggles built into it,
Could be.
Yes.
Yeah.
and his is like a different color because like
And
ostentatious.
it's silly and pointy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And Honto's responsible for building this mechanical monstrosity we just saw. So Aeon, how did you come across the suit? How did you get it?
I think that what happened is that there was a couple of other people were planning and trying to execute an escape attempt, and it was not going very well. I was attempting to talk them down, and again, that just wasn't happening. And so, kind of in desperation, like, okay, we'll stop this standoff. I like got into the suit, and then suddenly, there was actual weapon power on the field, and everyone was assuming I was on their side. And then we actually ended up escaping with it. So it worked! Yay!
I can
Oh, you were
imagine
there for the
you climbed
robot.
onto the suit because it gave you high ground to talk to people, and then you accidentally fell into the pilot seat, and everyone was like, "Oh no!"
And then you pulled an
No idea
Anakin.
where that
now this is pod racing. Yep.
All right. Well, we got a little taste of sort of the answer to this, but Bao, how did you all escape this prison? Like, what did that look like?
Yeah, I think there was like an escape plan that we had been planning for a while, and like we hit that struggle point, and then suddenly there was a mech suit on the field. I'm like, oh great, yeah, let's like use that to like blow a hole in the wall. So we did.
Yeah, we escaped from a keep that was surrounded by multiple walls. I imagine it's your call, but I imagine that you kept your Earthbender status a secret, and that was you're like, okay, let's get out of here. I'll Earthbend us through the walls and just blow
Yeah,
holes in them.
I'd imagine like we were inside at first, like surrounded by metal, so I couldn't do anything. But once we broke out, I could then go, okay, let me make us a ramp, and then we could just get over the rest of the walls.
Yeah.
A lot of the strongholds that the Fire Nation has built along conquered Fire Nation territory, like their interior walls are reinforced with metal so they can keep
Okay.
Earthbenders in.
Yeah, so like once we broke through one, I think it was smooth sailing past that.
Yeah, I was getting out of the first wall. That was the big one.
And since there is a fifth character who's not quite in yet, I'm going to give myself my own question.
Sure, but you get to answer it no matter what you do.
Exactly. And that question would be, who is Ash and how did they betray us? So there was another member that was with us, that escaped with us. And that Sato, my character, the old man, has known for a while. And after we got clear away and they saw the capabilities of the suit, they mentioned to us, hey, there's this group of individuals that could make use of that suit against the Fire Nation, which was an intriguing prospect for at least some of us, I'm sure. But after a little bit of digging, we found out that their methods were a bit more extreme than we were comfortable with. So we parted ways, and that particular scene, I think, was the rest of you. We were all standing around. Sato says, I'm going to handle this my way, and sort of brings Ash into the forest and returns alone. We're going to leave it there. You draw your own conclusions.
Okay.
Right then. I'm sure you just sent them on their way with a pat on the back and a wave. Good luck. Question to the rest of the group. Is it just the 4 of us, or do we have any other escaped prisoners with us?
At the current moment, you are on your own, whether that's like going to get supplies for the group or whatnot. But just for simplicity's sake, for the
In
first
the
session,
first
I say we
scene.
focus.
Okay.
I say we focus
Yeah.
on us
I
and
think
then
it
bring in
was-
complications.
I think it was more than us got out, but as soon as
Oh, I
we
like
hit the
that.
wood line, like the line of trees,
So we might
we're
run
the
into
only
others.
ones that are still that we know where we are.
Yeah.
Like we don't know where anyone else that may or may not have gotten out with us is now.
Okay.
Like they have bolted separately.
It's a
Meaning
matter
we
of,
can find them later if you want to include them. But as of now, we don't know who else is out.
Okay.
sounds good.
All right, and that was the episode 1 recap. But for now, we transition back to the now dark forest as we see another group of Fire Nation soldiers come into frame from the left and run out of frame to the right. After a few seconds, Sato, the middle-aged man, stands up slowly from some bushes in the background. That was close. We'll double back to the little village and try to lose them there. And that's where I hand everything off to you guys as you travel back to a little village to try to lose the Fire Nation soldier.
Perfect.
So if you want to jump into character here, or we can just fast forward right to the village, up to you.
Yeah, so I think walking to the village would be important. So we're in the woods. I'm assuming we're coming out of the woods to head like from the woods, the little path down to the village. I'm assuming Fire Nation is hilly or mountainy.
So right
Mountainy,
now, right now you're in conquered Earth Nation territory. So
Oh, okay.
you're in sort of a dense forest. There are roads, there are rivers.
There's probably
But-
hills, but I don't know if we're in full-on mountain territory.
Right.
All right, so we're in the foresty part though, not
Mhm.
the. I know there's also like Badlands section though.
Yeah, I don't think we're in Badlands sections.
Perfect.
That's way more
Okay.
east.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think, yeah, we start coming out of the bushes, and I have a little fire finger thing going for light. Just like a small,
Good night.
small controlled jet flame lantern.
Yep.
Yeah, by the time the Fire Nation got past you, the sun had set, so you're traveling in the dark currently.
All right.
I think I'm just looking out at. I'm gonna just start leading the way to the village, while admiring all of the. We're gonna say cornfields. There's just cornfields.
It's corn.
that are between us and the or avatar corn, so I guess like pear corn. Is that how vegetables work?
Is it cabbage fields?
No,
Cabbage
it's pear
fields.
corn.
Oh.
Okay.
Little
Yeah,
pear
cabbage
shaped
corn.
I don't
kernels.
think
Cabbage,
plants.
cabbage.
I don't think plants are. Make
Cabbage
Everything
is-
here is on a cob. Oh.
Yes, everything. We got pork on the cob. We got cabbage on the cob.
Okay.
Think as
Anyway,
we're
there's
walking-
fields. Fields are the important part.
hmm.
We're looking at the fields. I mistakenly fire punch a scarecrow. We're just nervous.
Dama.
What
not
else
to-
happens?
Not to question your abilities, but
Oh, please do.
do you know where you're going, or are you
No.
just walking?
I'm just trying to not get caught again.
Okay.
I think I saw a rhino. And I don't know if I can outrun
oh yeah, those are
one of
just
those.
regular rhinos, aren't they? Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perhaps I'll like. I'm from the military. I know how to travel in the woods.
Do you?
Mm.
I mean,
Like,
Did you take a class on it or something, or do you think by virtue of being a soldier? This is Dama inquiring as to do you believe does the virtue of you being a soldier qualify you to walk through the woods?
we did it a lot in training.
Quiwa,
Yeah, but you take a class or you just wing it the whole time?
while this conversation is happening,
Hmm.
lightly taps on the suit that Aeon is in and says, like, loud enough for just Aeon to hear, but not outright whispering, but saying, like, do you have some kind of spotlight or other thing that might help in this case?
The entire time as we've been walking, I've been kind of like tapping different things around the head, trying to like. There's a thing that looks like it should be a light up there,
You don't
and
know how
I'm
to
just
turn it on?
trying to make it on. Like, just give me a moment. I'm trying to figure it out. All right.
Dama, you can't learn about forestry from a classroom. You have to walk through the forest to learn about forestry. This is the argument.
Yeah, but you have to have someone to teach you. Like you can send
That
a
was the
child through the
sergeant.
woods and they don't know what the different trees are. They're just gonna die when they eat the. I can't find any fake trees in this list of things.
I'm
Or
not
when they
an
eat a poisonous
arbalist.
plant.
Quiwa will scan the suit on her end to see if she can see some kind of spotlight activating button, lever, pulley, something
See,
from
I'm
the
running
outside.
into the problem now of I have no idea how that would work at this tech level.
It would just be a lantern. It'd be a flame lantern, I'm guessing.
Oh, good.
it'd be
I've got a fire on my
It's
head.
effectively a hooded lantern, is what I would guess.
No, I think
Yeah.
it'd be funny if it was a miner's lantern. So it's a mirror, a little
mirror
light,
with
and a candle.
yeah, a mirror
Yeah,
and candle
mirror and candle.
extensively. Like it might be like an oil wick candle. So there's like a reservoir by your ear or something.
Yep.
That's
that
safe.
feeds the.
I like that. Like press a button at the ear and suddenly there's just a lighter that, sparks something and
Oh, yeah, there's a sparker.
It's a Zippo with a mirror.
Yeah.
Oh, with the beard, you got a sparker you can push, and it goes beep,
It's
like a
still a
little electric
prototype.
drill sparker.
You just bang your head.
Yep.
Must be out of gas.
If I spot that, then yeah, Quiwe will say, try pressing at your left ear.
just, this is left.
Yeah, and light comes on.
I think that it is, well, no. I wanted to say it was brighter than expected, but because drawing attention is a great idea, and that sounds like fun.
It's aimed.
But it is
yeah.
definitely brighter than the other light that we're looking at.
Yeah, my very controlled, like, candle strength flame is now overpowered by this headlamp that has been activated.
I guess that worked. Thanks.
Quiwe just nods and follows in line as we keep walking.
So yeah, eventually you do make it to the road sort of widens out, becomes a bit more traveled, and you come across you start traveling next to a small river, and it leads up to this small village that has maybe 10 buildings. A couple of them have 2 stories. Typical Fire Nation construction. There's a couple of fields and pastures out past all of the buildings, and there's an obvious like central town square with a giant tree growing in the center of it.
Yeah. I would like to assess the situation.
It's the middle of the night.
Okay.
Okay.
Do they look like traitors? Will they give us up? Just what are the vibes of this village?
Yeah, if you want to assess the situation and look around the village, go ahead and roll with creativity.
Cool.
The first roll.
Oh,
Hold on.
I ask after I roll. Okay.
Mhm.
See, I had to double check because sometimes these moves are ask then roll.
That might have been on my end or something.
6.
I think that was my Chase
Yes.
Adventure move. That was that.
So yeah, do you stay with the group or do you go wandering on your own? Is my question.
I think I just kind of stop at the ridge right before you step into town. Just
Okay.
kind of looking at it.
And we just keep
so
going.
you-
Like, are you at the back of the group, or are you at the front of the group and we stop?
I was in the front when I stopped.
Okay.
You can walk past me if
I'm
that.
I don't think.
definitely
no.
not wandering into town like this.
Yeah. Okay, then we're all together then.
All right, so you do see a couple of Fire Nation soldiers are at the door of a house. They have their backs to you. So you're like looking at the front of the house. They're knocking on the door. One of them's carrying a torch. The door opens and there's an exchange between them and an Earth Nation villager. You can see the Fire Nation soldier hold up a piece of parchment and point at it. And the person in the doorway just starts shaking their head, backing up. They look uncomfortable. But eventually, yeah, they say their piece. The Fire Nation soldiers turn, the door closes, and the Fire Nation soldiers see the headlamp and begin walking towards you.
I'm like, press the button again. It's not working. It's
It's
an on button, but it's not an off button.
You gotta like bash it.
Yeah, we have to
flip it down.
So yeah, what do you do? They're coming.
Check moves list.
I'm gonna make it a earthbending like.
Oh, you're just gonna give up
Camouflage.
right away?
Oh, you're gonna camouflage?
No.
Just gonna give up.
I'm gonna
the goose
camouflage
immediately?
us.
Dust storm out of nowhere.
No,
Yes,
I'm
there's
gonna
definitely a wall in front of the headlamp.
because we're on a ridge, right?
Mhm.
So
If it's not a
basically,
big
I
enough,
want
they
to.
can see us. They can.
They can
They
very
can see
clearly
us.
see you.
Oh,
Well, they can see the headlight, but yeah, they can very clearly see the headlamp.
Which is
We're on
you know,
a ridge.
not us.
Okay.
So that's good.
I have an idea that is not going to help hugely. I think I'm going to try and hide somewhere nearby. And I think... No, I don't think I would... Yeah, actually I would say what I'm thinking. I say leave the suit. And then they'll be distracted. We can take them out.
No, I'm not gonna leave the suit.
Okay. Pretend
Look,
it's
I've got a
empty.
different
Just don't
idea.
do anything. Oh,
And just go with it, guys. And I'm going to start like bobbing and moving around, and like I'm basically wanting to try and make them think it's something haunted over there.
you think it's a spirit?
Some kind of machine spirit. All right. It sounds like you're trying to trick them.
Beware, the Omnissiah haunts this place.
Ooh.
Prepare yon unguents and oils. Yeah, when you trick an NPC, roll with creativity.
I remember what my stats are.
I assume that's a bad stat for you because we're not a very creative bunch.
No, we're not.
Well, let's see how this goes, and if the thing works.
We can spend. Oh, after the roll's done, we can spend to help. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, you can. If you want to help, you declare it afterwards and mark 1 fatigue to add a +1 to the roll.
Okay.
Ah, that's why that button's not working. Okay, I can press it this way.
I'm ignoring the actual character sheet itself on this character. I'm just doing it all with
Oh,
text.
All
Nice.
right.
All right. So on a 10+, you pick 2, and there's trick. They stumble, or you take +1. Take +1 forward acting against them. They act foolishly. The GM tells you what additional opportunity they give you, or they overcommit. They are deceived for some time.
I think overcommitting makes a lot of sense with this, at least. And maybe stumbling, I think?
Okay, so +1 forward acting against them, and they're going to be enraptured by this weird mechanical haunted suit for a little while.
Yeah.
So that what happens is they walk over, they see that, like they laser focus on you, neglecting the other 3 who probably like dove into some, or sorry, yeah, 3 who probably dove into some bushes.
Yep.
I
I
melded into a rock like Homer
I
Simpson.
literally dive into a bush.
And yeah, they're just going to stand there at a distance, like circling around. One of them's going to use firebending to give some additional light, trying to figure out what's going on. One tentatively like runs up and like pokes you and runs back quick.
I could imagine this whole.
If you act haunt.
I like the idea that the machine itself was kept secret from the general Fire Nation soldiers looking for you. So they just heard about wanted poster might just have our faces and names and stuff, but this whole, the suit.
Why would
It's
we be
like,
on a
what
wanted
is
poster
this?
already?
In order to, get his promotion back. So can't do that if it's not a surprise.
Yep.
Are we fighting these people, or are we?
I think the three of us in there are looking at each other like, what do we do?
Because I have an idea to like start fighting them without them knowing we're fighting.
I'm gonna follow your lead. Quiwa will
Okay.
if you fight, she'll fight, but not if you don't.
What I want to do is like when the one Fire Nation guy runs up to poke it, I basically want when he runs away, because we're on a not a cliff. What's the word again?
Ravine.
Ridge.
On a
Ridge.
ridge. I
Mhm.
want him to like when he pokes it and runs away, I want to earth bend the rocks beneath him to crumble away
Oh,
and have him like fall.
Okay.
in a very subtle way. I like that.
Sounds like you're relying on your skills and training.
Yay, that's a focus one, right?
Should be.
Oh yes. I just clicked the button. Oh wait, we have +1 forward, right? You took that?
We do a +1
Uh,
forward to act
Yep,
against them.
+1 forward. Yep.
Let me check one thing. I don't know if that's for everyone or just the person that rolled. I just want to make sure we're getting the rules.
Hoping it's for everyone. That was my.
It probably is. I just,
I
never
don't
hurts to
think
check.
it says, based on the text below trick, at least it doesn't say.
Yeah, it's everyone. Okay, so
I'd
it's
say
just
it's up to
whenever
Marissa.
you.
If she wants, because she's the one who rolled, she can decide if she wants to share that +1.
I'm
Fair enough.
absolutely happy. Is it just once? But either
It's
way,
just once.
Forward means just the
Oh.
next thing.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Can
go
I
ahead.
choose not to use it?
Forward
I have a
usually
3
means
in
it has to
focus.
apply on the next thing, but in this case, you're not Marissa, so it's
Yeah, if it was Aeon acting, yes, they would have to use it immediately if they acted against these people. But since
Okay.
it's not, you can
Okay.
choose not to.
yeah.
Because I have 3 in focus, I don't need a +4 to the roll, so I'll just take the +3.
Perfect.
Ooh.
Jeez. Okay. Yeah. So describe what happens. Let's see here. Make sure we've got. Yep. You just do it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So he goes up to like poke the suit, and maybe like it rocks a little bit, and then that's when I use the opportunity to earthbend the rocks from beneath him, and maybe he falls and gets knocked out and scares the other guy away.
Yeah, that's probably what I was going to rule it as. Like, yeah, he falls down the ridge, and the other guy looks over and gets
He's just-
completely freaked out, and like looks down over the ridge, yelling, "Hey, are you okay?" And he starts running along the side of the ridge to get down a safe way to check on his friend.
Oh,
One of you notices that the parchment that they had falls on the ground as the guy runs off.
I want to shoot a little firebolt at the parchment.
No, I want to read it. Okay, as
Nope.
it burns, I'd like to glance and see what it says.
Yeah, as it's burning away, you can see two faces on the parchment. None of them are yours. It seems to be a man and a woman. The woman you can just make out quickly. Looks like she has her hair up in a ponytail with what looks to be a Fire Nation styled
like a hairpiece.
yeah,
thing?
like
Hairpin.
holding
Like what
the
Azula
ponytail
had.
up. Yeah, whatever you call that.
Yeah, they have I think it was just the hairpin.
I shave
but, like,
my head.
they
I
have-
don't know.
They have so many different, like, intricate fire bronze guys.
The other one seems to be a rather plain-looking. Looks like just any other Earth Nation. I hesitate to use the word peasant, but like an
Villager?
average, villager.
Sharecropper.
citizen.
And you can make the word out right as it's burning out under the Earth Nation mail. The word spy right as it burns away.
Okay.
As they get out of view and whatnot, I'm going to find the button, hit the lamp, and turn it off.
You just hear echoing off the ridge. It's gone.
Yeah. Let's go.
That spirit, yeah.
Do you want to just kind of like rush, like quietly rush into the village and hide now?
Yeah, I assume if it's a village, there are clothes on
And a
clotheslines.
barn. And a
And
barn
barns?
that we could park the.
Yeah, we'll find a barn and like just cover the thing in hay.
We're gonna Back to the Future this, just hide it in
Yes,
the barn.
obviously.
That's what they did in Avatar when they had to hide Appa. They hid him in a
It's true.
barn. A few times,
Yep.
actually.
Mhm.
We'll take
Okay.
it to the woods in the morning.
Yeah, I also just want to get out of like Fire Nation prisoner-esque clothes.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Who's taking the lead on hiding the suit if that's what you're doing?
Probably not me, because I'm not good at hiding stuff. I'm good at fighting things and
I
collecting
could
things.
try.
Probably me, at least in the lead. Though
Okay.
I'm not gonna
It's-
say no.
It's a helpable role, and I'm only going to tick you on it like when it's relevant.
Okay.
But it'll be pushing your luck probably.
Yeah, that's fair.
Souls, push luck.
Passion.
Ah, beautiful.
Okay, but yeah, you make it down into the village. You find mostly empty barn. There are chicken lizards or whatever the hell mutant amalgamation exists on farms in
Chicken
Avatar.
lizards are horrifying.
I mean,
They're
that would
turtle
be
ducks.
that would make yeah.
I like
You mean
iguana
we've
lizard.
seen the chicken
I like
thing.
iguana chickens.
No, sorry, not iguana lizard. Iguana chicken.
Yeah, iguana chickens are
Where
perfect.
they're like long, but also like have the chicken fur
Feathery.
sticking out between the
Yeah,
scales.
And they lay
but
slightly
still have
oval shaped
iguana
eggs.
They still have iguana legs. They have like a chicken face.
And a regrowable tail, so you don't actually have to.
Yeah, that's
You
how
know.
you
Part of the
eat
main
the
appeal.
iguana chicken tail over and over again.
Chicken tail is the cheapest kind of meat.
I like that, but I think it's also funny if it's just platypus. Like there's just a platypus farm
It's just-
because that's already a crazy animal.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't have stomachs. It's really strange.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, platypi do not have stomachs.
They're one of the weirder animals that's like all intestine. They're venomous.
I knew
They
what
put
the
lay
rocks in their
eggs.
mouth to chew things.
They what?
They put rocks in their mouth to chew things. Sort of
They
the same way
also-
a chicken will do that. They'll eat like a rock, and so their
Yeah,
stomach
and
kind of
goats do
grinds things
that.
up. They just don't swallow them. They just put them in their mouth.
Weird.
Aren't they
Okay.
a little bit like bioluminescent too?
Yeah,
Yep, under black light.
they look like Harry the Platypus under black light.
They are insane. Platypi
Marissa.
are monsters.
Yeah, proof that the aliens did have a hand in
They
shaping
can't go extinct
evolution.
because if they ever go extinct, no one will believe they ever
one will believe
existed.
So we want the roll for the push your luck.
Not yet. If the suit is in danger, we'll have that roll.
Okay.
That
I can-
but yeah, you basically have the run of the town until you do something stupid enough to call attention to yourselves.
I wanna
So
steal
5-10
outfits.
seconds.
Yeah,
I would steal outfits.
I'm on outfit stealing team.
Okay. You're gonna go raid some clotheslines.
Perfect.
I think while you're doing that, I'm still going to just be puttering around and making sure the suit's hidden well enough.
I'm gonna go find the local watering hole and ease like they probably just have open windows. So I'm gonna like stand just outside of it and hear what the
Well, they may not be open, but they don't have glass.
You're right, the wooden windows. But I'm gonna try and like stealthily listen to what the talk of the town is right now.
Okay.
An eye out to
Ah.
watch where you're going so I can join in if I need it.
Fair enough. So we'll start with the eavesdropping. Sounds like assess a situation to me, although it could be other things if you don't agree.
No, that's good.
Or push your luck if you're just like pretending to trim the bushes.
No, push my luck would be I walk in and be like, "Hello, fellow villagers, don't you remember me?" No.
Cousin, how long has it been?
Yeah.
I might use push your luck a few times. in this thing.
Yeah, this might happen a bunch. Okay, creativity, perfect. That's a
9.
9.
That's one question of the list.
Yep. I think. Ooh. There are some good ones here. I'm gonna go with who or what is the biggest threat right now.
Okay. So yeah, you hear a bunch of people talking. And what you pick up is that these Fire Nation soldiers coming into town is a fairly new development. You're hearing tale of some kind of Earth Nation spy that ran off with a first lieutenant in the Fire Nation army.
Okay, like
And
they broke, like they just what's the word? Sedition is the
Deserted?
wrong word, but they deserted. Yeah.
yeah, the first lieutenant deserted and known to be in the company of this Earth Nation spy. Like that's the rumor mill going around town. That's who those Fire Nation soldiers were looking for.
Ooh, okay.
So the biggest threat is either them or the Fire Nation. It depends on, you know,
Well, they seem
how
like
that
they
all
could be
shakes
potential
out.
allies. So I think later on when I report back, I'll frame it that way.
Okay.
So I think yeah, I basically wait around for a bit while the others are off doing laundry duty.
Mhm. So first step, we find the richest house in town.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't
So
want to
people-
look
The
like
person most
Bumpkins
likely
coming.
to follow up on this.
Yeah.
We don't want to look like Bumpkins.
Most likely to have guard dogs. Sure.
I mean, also, I describe myself as blinged out. I need to look like I deserve the bling. Otherwise, that's more suspicious.
Just wearing rags and really shiny jewelry. Like.
Also, can we talk about the fact they let you in and out of prison? With rings.
I thought
They
we just
didn't
took
just
them.
rob you.
Well, I think I got the because they're just minerals, right? It's not like diamonds. So I think maybe when we were like mining or whatever, I would like collect the minerals and just kind of hid them,
Oh, cool.
and then I
Okay.
earthbended them into rings.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because they're
Second
not
question,
metal rings with crystals
how'd they
on
let
them.
you
They're
get
like,
a bow?
yeah, made of crystal.
That's probably all that equipment was picked up like during the escape.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Like even if you had rings beforehand, they might have been in lockup and you all
Yeah.
like just got your equipment and got out.
I think that was part of our escape plan.
The clothes was a different spot. We didn't have time going for the clothes lockers.
Yeah, well, I couldn't bring my board, so it's not.
Yeah. No, I think
Yeah,
that this.
the general had taken that and put it in his sitting room.
Oh, I just meant it was big. I had like I had it on my cart or whatever. Like, it was just a full-size, like, dining room by show board.
That's great.
It was just a dining room table by show board.
Yeah, like a sit-down, like, full playmat one that like had its own legs. I kept it in my cart that was also impounded.
Yeah.
Made out of stone and a mosaic, so it's like 90 pounds.
But yeah, I think my bow, and however much other stuff we want to be, was taken basically from their, like, it's not really an evidence locker, but it's the closest thing to it. It was where they kept our stuff.
And you're also in the vicinity where the Yuan archers are based, so you might have grabbed some of their stuff.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know I didn't know how much they traveled. They were based there in the show. I don't know if they stayed around there.
So, moral of the story, we're looking for the nicest set of clothes we can steal, because that'll make it less weird that we're new in town.
Okay. What are your backgrounds?
Outlaw.
Okay. Okay.
Mine is military and collector, so we are collecting fancy
Collector.
clothes.
Okay.
One man's collector's
I,
another man's thief, you know.
yeah. I think collector tends to draw the line at larceny.
What if it belongs in my personal museum?
No, I think Dama at least has access to rely on your skills and training for this. Otherwise, it's push your luck. Okay, you can do that too.
Yeah.
Those two are kind of catch-alls. Like,
Yeah.
if you can make your background fit skills and training, then do it. But yeah, push your luck will be a catch-all.
But I have passion and very little focus, so.
Fair.
I am all focus and no passion.
That's a benefit.
Oh, I have one passion. Never mind. I'm not creative. That's like negative.
7.
Do
you want to?
okay.
Well, help there wouldn't actually help.
Yeah.
All right, so on a 7 to 9, you do it imperfectly. GM tells you how your approach might lead to unexpected consequences. You can either accept those consequences or mark 1 fatigue. The consequences are going to be guard dogs. There are guard dogs, and they smell you and start barking.
Cool. There.
Are you accepting the consequences?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah,
I was-
currently you two are being chased around the backyard by
think it's
two
more-
very mean.
I think it's more that Val was like watching Guard while I like selected outfits off the clothesline, and I got a pile of like laundry in my arms, and then the dogs wake up, and then Val sees me sprint past.
I would also make sure you get clothes for everyone, not just for us too.
I got a selection of what appear to be bathrobes and some nice shirts, a couple pairs of trousers, mismatched underwear sets. I got like a hampers full, just like in my arms. They're like socks are falling off as I run for
I
the
think
dog.
taking their underwear is a bit too far. I don't think we want to wear strangers' underwear.
You want to keep wearing your prison drawers? Be my guest.
Just go commando. Who cares? This is the medieval time.
Yeah, and I will have my silk boxers. Thank you.
So we gotta deal with the dogs.
Mm-hmm. They
Actually,
haven't made too much
deal with
noise
the
yet,
dog?
but you have noticed like a light go on in the house. So you
Yeah.
have a second, but not long.
Can I run? What's run?
Run is run.
I also would
Push
like
your
to
luck,
run,
probably.
but I also want to before. Can I earthbend? Not like a huge thing, but I want to make like a hole so it looks like there's like a mole that like the dogs heard.
Okay, yeah.
You want to trick them with mole holes?
Yeah, with mole holes.
Yeah, skills and training.
Aha, yes, thank you. I'll do that.
8. Okay. Yeah, this is gonna keep snowballing into like, yeah, that takes care of that, but like you run into town.
Or they're
Just
a
as
bit
those-
big? Like they're big enough where it's a concerning size hole?
Badger moles, no.
You know what? I do like that. I think, yeah, the person ends up coming out of their house, sees these rather large holes, and starts yelling for the guards.
And I could take fatigue to not have that happen.
Correct.
I will do that so we don't just keep snowballing.
Fair enough.
But you don't want XP.
What do you mean?
You don't get XP for failures.
But don't you get XP for doing stuff?
No, we get XP at the end for our
Yeah,
growth
pretty much.
question.
Yep. XP is there's a reason your XP level up track is only 3 ticks.
Yeah. It's end of session based.
Yeah, so it's 3 questions and then your playbook question.
And if you do all 4, you level up. All right, so yeah, it takes some effort on your part to put enough distance between you two and the guards, and you have to snake through a couple of the very few alleys that are here to get.
We Scooby-Doo
from
our
them.
way through this village to get away from them.
Mm-hmm.
We have to like backtrack a bunch and they
Yeah.
keep crisscrossing too.
Maybe throwing some rocks to like distract people, like the moles are over there.
You do more of the big mole holes?
Yeah, once I hear him start saying badger moles, I'm just making holes everywhere.
Quick, follow the trail of the holes. Shit.
We cause ample confusion. The bar, I think, takes notice, and then we get away.
Yeah, so you get yourself out of that situation, and it's up to you whether or not you regroup. But
Yeah, I think we just meet back at the barn, I assume.
I think that makes sense.
But yeah, so yeah, we diagonal wipe back to the barn as Anne like
New outfits.
finishes
We're on. Yeah, we have new
putting
outfits
some
on.
straw up there. Yeah, Dama comes in and just dumps about 20 pounds of clothes on the
Yeah.
floor.
I am wearing an embroidered vest now that I wasn't before. A soft-looking shirt.
While running.
I'm wearing just like a fancy, like probably like a vest, and then
Yeah,
like a
vests are
coat.
cool. They're
Yeah.
very cool in this setting. Vests are
It's
in.
the vest, but then it's a long sleeve
Mm.
coat. So then when shit gets real, I can take off the coat, and then my guns are.
Ah, so vest and
So-
no shirt.
So one
Yes.
hitch I will put in this, like all of the clothes are very nice. None of them match.
Oh,
These are inconsequential things. I have an embroidered vest, shirt, and like baggy pants, and like fancy shoes. They're like the cloth pointed fancy shoes, like not for walking around.
I think actually I try to find like the best set of clothes that like are close enough to matching that I also think are character names. A Kui, like that I think Kui will like.
Quiwa.
Cooey.
I think Quiwa's back now, so she will
Yeah.
pick them
was like-
herself.
I'll just call you Kui. I just hand you like stuff I think you'd like.
Okay.
Once the stuff's on the floor, I'll, go digging through it. I'm basically looking for whatever fits the best. I don't care if it matches. I don't care whatever, just fits wellish.
Yeah, Quiwa.
Right. Go ahead.
As Quiwa was sorting through the clothes, she relays what she heard, and she says, "There's I heard talk of the town. It was to do with that wanted poster. A Fire Nation First Lieutenant has apparently deserted, and alongside an Earth Nation spy, Earth Kingdom spy. So that means if we can get in touch with them, we may be able to work together to get out of here and further away from the prison."
How are you going to get in touch with them? Aren't they missing?
They're hiding from the Fire Nation. Doesn't mean they're hiding from everyone.
They would probably hide where we would hide. So think of places we would hide, and
The
they might
barn.
be there. They're not here, obviously.
But yeah, I know that. But there's only like 2 barns in town.
Perhaps should we go see that first house that the Fire Nation soldiers went to?
Because
I
that
mean-
wouldn't be suspicious.
Didn't give the other people up if they were there, but
They were also Fire Nation.
they were
We
Earth
can
Nation.
present ourselves. No, the Fire Nation.
No,
were searching.
The Fire Nation soldiers were searching, but there was an Earth Nation person who was being
Yeah.
talked to.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you are in an occupied occupied Earth Nation. What people in the Fire Nation would now call a colony,
Yeah.
because you belong to the Fire Nation. But no, this
Yeah.
is an Earth Nation or Earth Kingdom village.
Born Earth
There was
Kingdom.
the
now
rich
Fire
person we
Nation.
robbed. Fire Nation. I need to know what color these clothes
That's
are.
true.
Or is it reds or greens?
Probably a mix, I'd guess.
Most of
for
them are
one
still
household.
greens.
Okay.
You're going to come across some reds because like they want to start. The Fire Nation wants to start like moving in its people and like promoting their own culture here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the vest I have is red, just because I am a fire bending character, and as by the rules of the show, you
Must.
do have to color coordinate at all
Yeah,
times.
As someone who doesn't bend, I'm able to have any outfit, so I
Oh,
intentionally
but you can't wear the colored versions.
Yeah,
Oh,
you are
yeah.
forbidden
So
from 4 colors.
You're right. So I just get like a
Can't wear
gray color
blue,
or something like that.
Orange, green.
Yeah.
I like try it on, but it doesn't feel right. It's just something's up. So yeah.
Do clothes have a
what if-
feng shui? Because this isn't right.
What if the clothes I tried to give you were green? And you're like, no.
Yeah.
And you put
Now,
on like
I'll probably
the
something put on
brown
like my
one.
portrait. I'll put on like a charcoal colored like
Yeah.
thing.
Mhm.
Literally have green and red. It makes no sense.
Oh, that's
Yours
just
is
as
just a
good. Where
collage.
it's just like you didn't pay attention to color.
Perfect.
Colorblind people in this
I'm
world must be at a
colorblind.
disadvantage.
Yeah, they don't immediately know what kind of bending they're facing.
But yeah, I mean, so what is the intent of the group at this point? Are you going to lay low? Or are you going to investigate? You're just going to move on?
I think we want to find them.
I think Wiwa says to Baohu, "You are a servant of my father, and there is an Earth Kingdom spy, could you put the word out that who you are, maybe not specifically, but could you say that there is an agent of an Earth Kingdom king looking to assist the spy?
So you're trying to set up a honeypot for
Honeypot
the
may be a strong
spy.
word because that usually implies a bad trap.
It's a positive honey pot.
It's a honeypot with
It is
actual
actually
honey.
As I said.
Oh, bother.
But yeah, and I think that it'd be better if you do this because you are more. You would both look the part better than a 16-year-old girl, and also I don't think that I should go out and associate myself that way publicly in this place.
So our goals are obviously to get out of town,
Mhm.
right?
I think it's get out of town, but
we want to go somewhere. Do we have like vacation destinations?
Right now, you're just trying to get away from the Fire Nation enough that you can make those plans, I think.
Yeah, we're still like, this is the night of the escape or something like that.
Yeah. It's just that Dama does a lot of traveling.
Oh, so you're like, well,
I'm
I have
already
to...
thinking about the next one. We're done with prison. Obviously, we're not going back.
Yeah.
We've decided
But you're
this.
trying to... Who should I send a message
we're
ahead to
trying
so I
not
can
to
get the
go
holiday
back.
discount?
I'm just trying to figure out the plan. Like, where we're going.
I can try and go to that watering hole. I'm not, because we don't know if they left to fight the Fire Nation or if they left for any other reason that might be more nefarious. I can try and put that word out, but
if they left, we might learn how, even if they aren't here. And if they got out that way, then maybe we could get out that way.
I mean, I guess it can't hurt to try.
So I think from behind the now covered armor, you just hear a voice, somewhat sleepily, yell out, "Do whatever you want, just don't bring any trouble."
It's okay, Grandpa. You can sleep. We're good.
Let's find the spy. At the very least,
We might
make a friend.
Yeah, we might be able to get more information or be part of that network to get out.
Or do you really want to join up with some like sketchy rebellion, though?
If
It's
someone
like, what
is
is
a
the
discovered
Earth Nation?
spy, then the first thing they need to
what
do...
what has the Earth Nation ever really done for you?
Quiwa just gives you a look.
Like, I also look,
You...
and then I'll look at Quia, and then go back.
Like, I'm not saying you have to submit to the Fire Nation or anything, but like, what has the Earth Kingdom ever really done for anyone not in Ba Sing Se? Like, it's...
There are problems, but I think if the question is, do we want to get out of here without being burned by the Fire Nation, we might need to get a favor from a spy.
The Fire Nation is actively
than
hunting
get
us.
captured again.
And whatever this machine is...
Oh yeah, I forgot about the robot.
Yeah.
I just look, it's like right, I imagine you're saying that, it's like right, the hay pile that it is in is like right next to you.
I don't...
Yeah, a little hay falls away and you can just see like the face of it in the
My,
pile. Like right behind Dama.
Yeah, I'm taking my club stat seriously here. Focus.
Yep.
I mean, if our goal is to get this to wherever it needs to be in the Earth Nation so that we can sort it out, let's just go talk to the people who didn't seem to know anything, maybe, or at least they didn't to the Fire Nation, so let's just go talk to them.
We'll split up.
Start heading towards the door unless anyone stops.
I got clothes. Now it's time for tea, and then probably bed. So
I roll my eyes. I tell Bao who you go to the watering hole, Aeon. I look at you can tell Quiwe glances at Aeon when they say this to double check that they're saying the name right and that it's right. You can it's clear we don't know each other that well, but Quiwe says Aeon and I will go talk to that other person.
Why don't I go with you two? Because you're both teenagers, right?
Yes.
Sorry,
Let me-
21 and older.
Let me go with you two to the stranger's house. Because if I can speak from a character sheet perspective, I have an ability that lets me tell if people are lying and rolling focus for it.
Ooh.
It's this one. So you guys can do the talking. I just have to watch.
Oh man, I missed one of my special powers already. The first roll is when you assess a situation, you can ask a bonus question even on a miss.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not. We're not going to backtrack. But how do I immediately miss one of my 2 special powers?
Because we just started.
2.
I only have to worry about one because my other special power is I have a 3 in focus
Yep.
I was wondering how you had super focus.
because I took it to up to 2, and then I have furrowed brow, which makes me take another +1.
Yep.
That's so weird. You're just always concerned.
I am so
Yeah.
focused.
All right, so what's the plan? You got to go
Let's
talk
go
to
talk to
the
the guy. Yeah.
Yeah. go
people
talk
that were
to
interrogated?
the
Yep.
People that were at the door knocking before.
Okay. So yeah, you walk up to this. I mean, it's not a. It's a respectable hovel. You know, they're not rich people, but it's a respectable domicile.
Middle class.
Yeah. Do you knock on the door? Do you yell? How do you get their attention?
Yeah, knock on the door.
After a couple of minutes, the door opens, and all of you sort of look down as this, probably 60 to 65-year-old woman enters the door. She's clad in green Earth Kingdom garb. And she said, "Yes? Is this? Oh, you're not those guards again. They've been around all day."
Hi, sorry to wake you, ma'am. We actually were here about those guards. We were wondering if you knew where the people that they were looking for are?
I think before the woman answers, I paused and I we're how do I put this? I think
Not with the guards.
yeah, Quiwa would know better what to say, but she says, we are here on behalf of the Earth Kingdom and hoping to make a connection with them, see if we can help them. Do you know where we might find them?
If there's anything, I mean, we don't want to expect you to give us this information. So, is there anything we can do for you first that would make you, okay with that?
I put my hand on your shoulder, okay.
I've heard there's been a recent discovery of badger moles in town. I can help you with that.
Oh, they're in the
How?
basement. You must be level 1.
Please collect 12 badger molasses and bring them to me.
And her basement somehow
Her basement
a whole map.
Yeah, her basement is a mega dungeon. It leads into caverns.
Well, it's not even it's a mega dungeon. It's just bigger than the rest of town. It takes you the same amount of time to walk through town as it does to walk through her empty basement to complete the quest.
But anyway, yeah, I think what you're doing is pleading. When you plead with an NPC who cares what you think for help, support, or action, roll with harmony.
Sweet.
Aeon, do you want to do that?
Yes, though I'm just double checking to see if I've got anything special to it. Nope. What do you mean special pleading?
Now, when I suggest a move like this, feel free to say, no, it's this move, and if you have a good reason, because we're all learning here.
Mm-hmm.
We're intimidating.
No, that
old
works
lady.
perfectly. Yeah.
Oh, right.
All right, old lady.
Yeah.
You see all these rings?
We got a pie show player
Want to
back
see him
there.
closer?
Yeah.
We'll do the most humiliating thing we could do to old lady. Beat
Beat
her at pie show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. That's the move.
You want a young whippersnapper? He'll destroy you.
Is there any help, or should I just roll it?
Well, we do.
We do help after.
Help is declared after. That way they don't waste the fatigue that they have to spend on a roll that wouldn't.
No, you don't need it.
Doesn't matter. 10.
Okay, 10 plus. They act now and do their best until the situation changes. So I think what happens is the old lady looks directly at Quiwa and says, "Wait a minute, I've seen you."
Quiwa just like freezes and gulps.
I'm blanking on the name of the town you're from. Sorry.
Oh, let me check. It is, if I go up here, where did I put it? Oh, Duofei is what it's called.
Okay. So my brother used to live in Duofei. I've seen your family. Get inside quickly.
Yeah, she lets herself get rushed in. Baohu, she saw all three of us. Like Baohu doesn't like step out of the shadows, or I don't know.
She's talking to whoever's in front of her.
Yeah, I was just behind you two.
Okay,
like,
you weren't like
looking
hiding.
like the adult in the situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah,
Yeah.
three of
Yes.
us.
As she brings you in, she sort of grabs you by the arm, Quiwa, and was like, "What are you doing out here? Why are you away from your father? It's not safe."
A bunch of different possible answers run through Quiwa's mind before she says, I'm on my way returning to him now. That's why I am here needing your help and perhaps the help of that spy. I think we can help each other.
Oh, that's no spy. It's a good boy. I don't know why they're after him like they are. Rue never did anything to anyone. Aside from getting tangled with that harpy.
Well, in that case, maybe we can help him. Can we talk to him?
She says, I think I can get a message to him. He'll be thankful to know there's a family about. As she says that, you connect the name Rue to sort of a cousin branch of your line. Very minor family, right?
Yeah.
But you've met Rue before, like 10
At
years ago when you were a little
gathering or
kid.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. There's probably a
but he is-
flashback where she probably like, I could imagine they were
You went
kids
to, like,
playing
his-
together, but the only time they ever met, they were kids playing together, and so it probably went badly.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they're like tangentially related to your family lineage.
Okay.
So they are a part of that.
You had to go to like his sister's 13th birthday or something silly like that, where
An Earth Kingdom quinceanera you had to go
Yeah,
to.
I was gonna say, do they have bar mitzvahs in the?
that's
in
what I
the...
was thinking. Like some sort of like not quite adult children's
coming of
birthday
age
that
sort of
involves a
thing.
lot
Yeah.
of like bringing in extended family for the big party because
I
there's only
absolutely
like
can
one
see
of
that.
them. Sweet 16s in that same kind of range of event.
Yep. Okay.
I just don't know the Avatar version of it.
But yeah, she brings you inside. She introduces you to her equally, if not more so, elderly husband. And as you sit down, you talk pleasantries and stuff. The old woman disappears into the kitchen. About 45 minutes later, she comes back with tea and says, I talked to one of the boys in the village. They're getting word to Rue now. He should be here shortly.
I'm keeping an eye out the window.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I think she
Eventually,
asks,
yeah, Rue does show up, but if you guys want to sit here and figure some stuff out first, go for it.
yeah. Kuiwei will mostly ask, I think, make small talk. Not entirely just small talk, but like ask them like, how long has this village been occupied for? How has the Fire Nation been treating you guys overall? Like asking about basically a status update, so to speak.
So this particular area of the Earth Kingdom was one of the first ones hit with the Fire Nation when
So it's
they
been almost a
began
full
their
10
assault.
years.
Right. Yeah, it was like the first step on a push to, again, blanking on proper names, to to a city called Taku. Taku is a little north of the Great Divide. They were one of the first cities entirely destroyed by the Earth King, or by the Fire Nation. Sorry. It was an international trade city, one of very few that existed at the time, and the Fire Nation just rolled over it.
Okay.
But they've been surviving fairly well. They haven't really been mistreated, other than if someone steps out of line, they answer to the Fire Nation army, not a nice magister, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything they need or something we can do to help? They're helping us. We should help them.
Being as stubborn and set in her ways as she is, she's a gracious host, and no, there's nothing you can do. Just relax and take it easy. There, as far as she's concerned, this is like the prince coming to visit with Quiwa here. Like,
this is probably the
there's nobility
first
in the house.
tea that like any of us probably have had in a long time. So I enjoy myself.
I take tea to be polite, but I don't really drink it that much. And I want to ask the old lady, why do you call the Fire Nation woman that is also being looked for a harpy? What is your
Well,
I'm trying to think of like the polite way to say, what's your beef, dog?
What happened?
What
Yeah,
gives?
like,
Like,
what is the reason for your animosity?
basically, well, from the story she tells you, it sounds like Rue and this woman were a bit too friendly with each other. And both sides, like all the people in the town, were very uncomfortable with how close they had gotten. Right? You don't cross
Like
Fire Nation
sides,
and Earth
yeah.
Kingdom, you know. So everyone was sort of like, no, you're a traitor to each side.
Okay. So they're
no, you're a traitor, or if it's not like outright, like traitor is like you're gonna put us in danger.
Yeah, if this relationship were to be known to the Fire Nation, it would cause problems, right? So everyone was kind of on edge with them being as close as they are.
okay.
And of course, being Earth Kingdom, she blames the woman who's not Earth Kingdom.
Yeah, I don't think I think I would ask, like, sort of lightly but not push if there's any news from Duo Fei, but I wouldn't. She has, like, it's probably unlikely she's heard much in a village like this behind enemy lines.
Yeah, news is sparse. Most of it is bad. Like, these guys haven't heard good news about the war since it started.
Yeah, because I mean, that makes sense. The Fire Nation wouldn't share news that isn't pro-propaganda.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's all I want to ask before Rue gets here.
Yeah. So yeah, eventually, and Dama, you might, if you're like around and noticing, you might notice two cloaked figures coming up to the house.
Yeah. Can I follow them?
Yeah.
Stealthily.
We have everyone's gonna think you're a Fire Nation spy, like
Dressed in the red.
Yep, it's gonna be perfect.
Yeah, you can follow behind them. They like go down a little side alley and around to the back door of the house and sneak inside. So yeah, coming into the room where you're having tea, there are two cloaked individuals. There's one skinny, a little shorter than the other, which the other one is very broad-shouldered, probably about 6 inches taller. And yeah, as they come into the room, the smaller of the two pulls his hood back, revealing Rue. It's a typical Earth Nation or Earth Kingdom, citizen. Nothing overly remarkable about him. And when the woman pulls back her cloak, you notice that she's ripped. She's beefy, like a big girl. Yeah, very square jaw. Her hair up in that same bun. And they look at you rather suspiciously until the old woman tells Rue who Quiwa is. And he looks at you and the concern on his face changes to relief. And he says, "Oh, I can't believe you're here. We've been running for a while."
We're here to talk about getting out of here. Quiwa looks politely at the woman and bows to her, actually, in a gesture of like politeness and thank you for being a gracious host. And she says, "The less you hear about this, the less danger you're in. Shall we leave together?" I like field the question to everyone if we want to go back to what we know as the barn, and talk with them there. But I'm also wondering. I'm giving the old lady the chance to leave because she might insist on it. I'm like, no, I'm going to leave. You stay here.
Yeah, I think that's what she does. She's like, "Oh no, but please stay in your seats." And she goes over and like kicks her husband's feet off of an ottoman. She's like, "Come on, Han, get your lazy ass up. We have to leave these kids alone. They have to figure things out."
I
They,
can
like,
imagine.
go off into
I
the
can imagine
kitchen.
he was starting to snore lightly. He's like,
We walk in the morning, they're going for a walk.
completely like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm going to follow my wife.
Yeah, and when
Happens-
Dama hears them shuffle out, make some sort of bird call that we would have recognized as a signal
Yeah,
from our escape
none of us
plan.
agreed to bird calls, but I could imagine
Ooh.
Dama insisting, like, no, we have a bird call, and that's
We need a bird call. And I make it from the alley behind the building.
I look at Bao, who like, do you want to just go get him?
I just go and open the door.
Yeah, and
I'll just like do a little kick and like a rock goes and like bounces and knocks the door open a little bit.
I shuffle in and
He's with us. Just
give them an up nod and take a seat and pull myself a cup of tea.
I assume Buffy McBufferton is the Fire Nation lady.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just so we can put a name to it. Where are my notes? Her name is Hoshiko.
Hoshiko.
perfect. So I think Kui will continue to lead the conversation if that's good with everyone. She says, "We heard about your situation, and I'm not." She's not pausing as much as I am. I think I'm just finding the right words, but I think Quiwa says, "And we're interested in traveling to Duo Fei together, helping each other out."
I think Rue looks at you and says, "Dual Fei, that's far.
It is.
I don't know if we'll make it all the way. We were trying to get to Taku. We've heard that people are beginning to resettle the area."
No, they crushed that place.
Yeah. I give Dama a look and say yes, and the resettlements afterwards are beginning to progress, but I'm assuming, actually, this is my assumption.
Yeah,
it's
so
still under Fire Nation control.
We're gonna live in
After it was
a
destroyed. I'm
tent
guessing.
city? Like
so Taku, you've probably heard various reports about it. Like it was destroyed 10 years ago. It is no longer a grand city, but people have begun moving back in because the Fire Nation is far enough past it.
Okay,
that
so it's
the bulk of
technically
the
in their
army isn't a
territory,
problem.
but really no one's paying attention to it.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I think that Quiwa says, I have no idea, so I'm just gonna spitball. You don't have to travel with us the entire way, but we we can travel together for a time, split up in the future if we need to, but we thought it would be better if we worked together.
I mean,
I think-
they're always safe.
Sorry?
Keep going.
It will come out eventually. We escaped from a Fire Nation prison recently, which is like, for her, this is rather scandalous for someone who knows who Quiwa is, I'm guessing, to be like, who didn't hear that she was in prison, be like, why were you sent to prison, kind of thing.
Mhm.
And so
I think at that Hoshiko looks at all of you. Now both of these two are a bit older than you, like mid-20s ish, maybe a little
Yeah.
older. But Hoshiko looks over at you, and rather than having that dismissive look, like what the hell are these kids gonna do, she's a little impressed.
Dang, these kids are
Yeah.
prison.
and
Yeah, getting out of a Fire Nation prison is no small feat, and she knows it.
mhm.
And we kind of took something.
I think
Just clear it up.
if you let me, Indigo, I'd like to try and interrupt you before you finish that sentence, but that's up to you.
I mean, sure, like I'm not gonna. If there wasn't a break in Quiwa's like description there, like we came out of fire prison, blah blah blah. But if you let it hang too long, I would clarify, and we kind of took something.
Yeah, I want to keep that a secret for now, at least.
Cool. So you just have to
Yeah, and
keep moving with it.
so I think I
then.
say, and we, like loudly I say, like, and we will, it's a long story, but myself and obviously Bao Hu, are associates of my family. Bao Hu is a servant. I think I don't know who you are, so I just say servant because I think yeah.
Yeah, I think if anyone's like watching Bahu, he just sort
bristle
of
a
like
bit.
goes, like I'm not a servant. I'm like a soldier, but it's
Yeah.
okay. She's a child.
Privileged
Yeah,
damn
you're all
kids.
servants. That's fine. You're just a different type
Yeah.
of servant.
I think Bahu tries to catch Hoshiko's eyes and go like, we have the military look.
Yeah, the subtle up nods between both of you.
Yeah.
And Aeon and Dama are also escaped prisoners who can. She hides her hesitation, handle themselves. It was more.
I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
about me, but like the grandpa can.
Yeah.
We have
a
another.
fifth as
He's an
well.
older man. He is
Taking a
a
nap.
Fire Nation soldier, veteran who was in the prison long before any of us. He is a mystery, but very much no friend to them.
Mostly been deep in his cups the entire time you've been out. Like that was the first thing Sato did.
Yeah, I
was
need a
find
drink.
wine.
Yeah. Perfect. I imagine when everyone else went to go do laundry and steal laundry, you just went and like stole a wineskin from someone.
Yeah, while you were listening at the window, he was out back of the watering hole, like grabbing a keg and just going
Yeah,
back
just
to the
rolling
barn.
it over. Perfect. But yeah, I think we will. Other than the suit itself, she's happy to be honest with them about our situation.
Okay. Yeah, I think Rue looks at you all and says, we should go soon before the sun comes up. The patrols have been heavy lately.
Fair enough. Are you with
Probably.
us, or are you're not?
I mean, like he's saying we, the collective,
Yeah,
we, the royal
we
we.
as a group, like, okay, yeah, we're in. Let's go together right now. I think.
Well, I want to like while the whole conversation's happening, I want to just like be analyzing. Well, Rue is like your cousin or whatever, so he's like, whatever, that's fine. But he really wants to make sure, like, is this Fire Nation lady stuck in a situation she doesn't want to be in, or did she like leave because like she cares about this dude, right?
Okay. Yeah, you want to use your move to
Yeah, my
like read her
suspicious
a little
mind.
bit?
Yeah. Oh, it's already up there, so I'll just roll focus.
Yep.
9.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, it's
I might help you.
Ooh.
Because I'm rather observant, less people and more, but I still have myself with social situations, and I also have some experience. So I think I'm going to help. I'm a market fatigue.
Okay.
Thank you. I can now ask 2
But-
questions.
There you go.
I want to know, what is she truly feeling?
I think through a conversation with her, you get the impression that she does really care about Rue. And she's entirely worried about the situation. Like, she admits that she's deserted the Fire Nation, right? So that's bad in and of itself. If they catch her, she's done.
Yeah.
But she's also, in doing that, she has complicated the situation so much for Rue that she feels very bad about it.
Mm.
And yeah, she wants to make sure that he's okay, and she wants to stay with him.
Okay. I'll take suggestions for the last question of those I can ask, because
Hey, you can hold it for later and just drop it in when something develops if you want.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can hold it. Because I think holding a "What are you about to do" could be a good idea, or something like that.
Okay,
I don't
I
think there's a
will.
question I want to ask for this question, but I am curious to know, what do they want to do when they get to that other city? Like, do they think that, okay, now we can come out of hiding, it'll be fine?
So yeah, Rue had family in Taku. So he knows the area pretty well.
I would have heard about
and
that, I
he
assume.
yeah, and he believes that they can carve out some small, subtle life for themselves there, under the radar, not bothering anybody. But they need to just get out of the immediate area because too many people know their faces.
Mm.
Are they still wearing their trademark, red and green?
They're wearing brown nondescript cloaks at the moment.
Yep.
You
Jedi
do catch
robes.
like
Green
You-
and red, bro.
you do catch some stuff underneath, but yeah, it looks like average
Yeah.
traveler's clothes,
She's not
not
wearing
anything.
her, like, Fire Nation armor anymore, I assume.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, like, I'll try and get, I keep forgetting how to say your character's name.
Quiwa.
Kui. I think he might just. Oh wait, we're probably not that familiar enough. You call him a servant. What's your family's last name? You might
Just
Oh.
say
call her
yes.
Princess. Do the Han Solo thing.
No,
I don't want that dynamic.
no, thank you.
Huyen is the last name.
Who? Oh God. Wait, your full name is Quiwa Huyen?
Yes.
That is so hard.
Huyen is.
Milady.
I did.
Come on, you play D&D. There's dragons with 7 Z's and a Y.
Yeah.
Have you ever
Yeah, but I
seen
don't
a
name
Forgotten
my guy.
Realms name before? Let's just consider
It's a
Uh,
real
Forgotten
last name,
Realms.
and
It is?
the first name was
Mhm.
from the book.
I'm just saying, my mouth does not like making those shapes to say that. I'll just say Milady. As I tip my fedora and give you the
Mhm.
green light that the Fire Nation lady's good.
Let's go.
Just like
Oh, okay.
like this passes the smell test.
So do we want to rest here for the night then and start out tomorrow, or?
I mean,
No,
about
we're
it.
leaving. I think we
We need to leave
We need to
before
leave.
the dawn.
now, and it's
So
been a
you-
few hours. Like, I think we need to leave now.
Yeah, that is your choice. If you do choose to spend the night in a covered stable or barn, you can clear up to 3 fatigue.
We don't have enough fatigue. So I think
Just-
Quiwa's tired just from the one fatigue she has, but also I assume we've still been traveling through the night. So I think there's a moment where she closes her eyes and lets the tiredness wash over her for a minute before she seals it back up and says, "Let's leave now." And I think she's doing the noble thing of, I guess I'm taking command now.
Yeah, we should probably leave, and then when we get deep enough into the woods, we should rest for a bit. Some more,
I can make shelter.
but just like get out of town before the sun comes up, because the giant robot.
If you say let's leave now, while
We'll
in
get
front
to
of
that. I
everyone,
think
say,
you
okay,
need to say
we're
that in
all-
front of the others.
Okay, I'll get the robot.
Yeah, I'll go get
I will explain, says Quiwa, as the others are like, "What's a robot?"
Get the robot and the old man, please.
Suit? What suit?
Yep.
Oh, I should also leave before Grandma comes back. If we never actually met. So flip.
Fair.
Mhm. Oh, and that is
Okay, yeah. So
perfect.
you make your way back over to the barn, explaining to Ru and Hoshiko on the way that there's a metal monstrosity that don't be alarmed. It's
It doesn't have
not
a soul,
alive.
okay.
It's not alive until one of us is in it.
Yep.
I think when it's revealed, Hoshiko looks at it and understands the implication.
Yeah. And any seasoned soldier would, I think.
I think I proudly start showing off the different bits of it that I understand, and this is how this thing works, and this is
This
how
is a
I try and
flamethrower.
fail because even though I'm taking charge, I'm so quiet to interrupt you several times and be like, "We have to go." No.
technical explanation as deep as I can go into every.
And she's into it, right? She's like, what and what's this bit do? And what's and you can't keep up with the question she has because you haven't beta tested this thing enough.
Yeah. That's the
We can
best.
try.
That's the best part. I don't know yet.
But yeah, as realization comes over her about what this thing actually is, she's scared. Like, they have this. Like, we were enough. We're firebenders. We're awesome. Why do we need this?
For the non-firebenders.
Now that's not cool at all. Like, yeah. I think her decision to leave the the Fire Nation has resolved, and she's like, no, this is a step too far.
Oh, okay, good.
Yep. Okay.
I think it's pretty cool. You see that thing?
It is horrifying.
Well, if you're fighting it, yeah.
I try to wake up
But otherwise, it's pretty cool.
Mr.
Imagine
Akane,
a-
I would call him.
Imagine a brigade
Yeah,
of those.
you get like a grumble, and I think as he wakes up and goes, "Ugh," you get the smell of like the wine,
I brought
very
you
pungent.
Yeah, I brought you a cup of tea. I say it's cold by now. Not that I could do anything about that.
Yeah, he's like
Warm.
stumbles and like tries to grab it and just knocks it out of your hand. And he stands up and his hair is like all full of straw because he's been just passed out. On the
I think I offer him a shoulder.
Yeah, he. It takes a couple minutes, but eventually, like, he shrugs it off. His eyes are still red and bleary. He's like, "Have you decided what to do?"
We're leaving town.
Good. I don't like this place.
We made some friends.
Oh.
Rue, cousin of mine, and his interested partner. Was it Horikoshi? What's her name?
Hoshiko.
Hoshiko.
Yeah, he looks them over, like, just does a wave. And yeah, basically he's going to fall in line with you because he's half hung over and doesn't want to take charge of any situation. He's just here for the ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we head out.
Yeah,
Can
we
we
take
head
our
out to a break?
midpoint.
Yep.
Yeah, this is perfect
Yep.
timing. So as we leave town, we'll see. Maybe we leave town smoothly. Maybe we don't. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Cool.